Check her phone right after you finish this video. I promise, you'll likely see something that makes your stomach sink. But before you go looking, I'm going to show you exactly what to watch for so you don't overlook the signs that she's already halfway out the door. These 11 seemingly harmless behaviors will reveal exactly how far along she is in her exit plan. Before we jump in, tap the like button if you want more unfiltered truth like this. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll keep giving you the kind of honesty most people are too afraid to say out loud. Also, tell me your city in the comments. I want to see how widespread this problem really is. And here's a challenge. If you stick around until sign number 9, I'll share the one thing women do that even we don't realize we're doing. It's so subtle that 99% of men never notice it, but once you do, you'll catch it every time. All right, let's begin. Now, I'm not here to bash women or fuel paranoia, but speaking as a woman who's been on both sides of the situation, I know the patterns. When we cheat, it doesn't happen in one impulsive moment. It's a process, and that process leaves little clues. Today, you're going to learn how to spot them. Sign 1. The phone flip. She's suddenly putting her phone face down. It looks like nothing. Maybe she's just trying to be more present, right? Maybe she read something about cutting screen time. But here's the reality. This tiny, innocent gesture can shout guilt louder than anything else. Think about it. She used to keep her phone face up, notifications in plain sight. She might even have asked you to check her messages while she was busy cooking or driving. Hey, can you see who texted me? That used to be normal. Now, it's always face down. Every time. When she goes to the bathroom for 2 minutes, when she showers and the phone's on the nightstand. Even when you're watching a movie together, with zero reason to hide anything. Here's why. If his name popped up while you were sitting right there, it would be like catching herself in the act. Not physically cheating, but emotionally. That little smile she can't hide. The quickening heartbeat. The instant she mentally leaves the room because someone else just lit up her day. Flipping the phone face down is more than a habit. It's a physical barrier between two worlds. The world where you exist and the one where he exists. It's compartmentalization. A wall she's building right in front of you. And here's the part that will mess with your head. If you question it, she'll turn it on you. It's just a phone. Why are you acting paranoid? I'm trying to focus on you and you're complaining? You don't trust me over something so small. That's textbook gaslighting, and women have perfected it. Sign 2. The sudden self-improvement right. She's suddenly invested in her looks, but not for you. She starts working out, buying new clothes, paying more attention to her hair. At first you think, great, she's taking care of herself. Here's what we don't say out loud. When a woman suddenly upgrades her appearance after getting comfortable, there's usually an audience. We're not just trying to look good for life in general, we're aiming to impress someone specific. And if that person was you, you'd know. You'd be invited to the gym, asked what you think of her new outfits, included in the process. The dead giveaway? She no longer wants you to see her getting ready. The bathroom door that used to stay open is now closed and locked. She's putting on makeup for a quick grocery run, but won't say which store. Sign 3. The emotional wall. She no longer turns to you for emotional support. This one is massive, and it's the reason so many men miss it. On the surface, it looks like she's just becoming more independent. She used to confide in you about her rough days, vent about her boss, share her fears for the future, or get excited over small victories. You were the person she processed life with. Now, you ask how she's doing, and she just says, I'm fine. And that's it. But here's the truth. It's not about independence or self-reliance. It's about getting that emotional outlet from someone else. It's about finding a new person to be vulnerable with. When a woman is emotionally invested in another man, she instinctively starts protecting that connection. She avoids bringing your relationship problems into that space because it would taint the fantasy. She doesn't want to complain about you to him. It would feel too much like acknowledging she's cheating emotionally. And here's the kicker. She doesn't open up to you anymore because she's already opening up to him. Think about it. Emotional intimacy can run deeper than physical intimacy. When we share our fears, dreams, frustrations, and little wins with someone, we're building a bond that's incredibly strong. So when he becomes her go-to for comfort instead of you, that's when the real betrayal begins. And the most painful part? She's not just hiding her struggles from you, she's sharing them with him. He knows about her work stress. He knows about her family issues. He knows her insecurities, her goals, and her secret dreams. Meanwhile, you get the watered-down version, the polite conversations and surface-level updates. Sign 4. The schedule mysteries. Her routine suddenly has unexplained gaps. Working late starts meaning something else entirely. But here's the thing. It's not just the lies, it's the vagueness. She used to give you clear details, names, times, locations. Meeting with Sarah about the Johnson project until 7. Now, it's just meeting with the team or grabbing drinks with people from work. And here's the psychology. We know you trust us, and we use that trust. The vagueness isn't meant to fool you completely. It's meant to give us plausible deniability. If you press for details, we can respond with something vague but technically true. Oh, just some people from accounting. And the moment you push further, we flip it on you. Why do you need to know everyone I talk to? Are you trying to control me now? That's classic deflection, and it works because it makes you feel like the unreasonable one. Sign 5. The intimacy shift. Your physical connection suddenly changes, sometimes drastically. And here's the tricky part. It can swing in either direction. She might start avoiding physical touch completely. Or she might become more sexual than usual, almost like she's performing. Both extremes point to the same root cause: guilt. For some women, touching you feels like cheating on him. Every kiss feels false. Every intimate moment feels like a lie, so they pull away. Others go the opposite route. They overcompensate. They think if they're extra physical with you, it will somehow erase the wrong they're doing with someone else. But whether it's the coldness or the sudden desperation, the feeling is the same. It doesn't feel like love anymore. Sign 6. The new vocabulary. She starts speaking in ways that don't come from the world you share. All of a sudden, she's using new phrases, referencing movies you've never watched together, throwing in slang that doesn't match how she normally talks, or cracking jokes that sound like they came from someone else entirely. This isn't random. It's called linguistic mirroring. When we spend emotionally intimate time with someone, and I mean truly connected, not just physical, we naturally start adopting their speech patterns, favorite sayings, and style of expression. It's not something we consciously decide to do. It just happens. His jokes become our jokes. His phrasing becomes our phrasing. His go-to expression starts slipping into our own sentences without us realizing it. If he says, "That's wild," instead of "That's crazy," suddenly we're saying, "That's wild too." If he has a unique way of describing things, we start describing them that way. It's one of the most basic forms of psychological bonding. We mirror the people we feel closest to. And here's the thing, when that person isn't you anymore, the shift in her language is subtle, but it's real. If you call it out, she'll brush it off. "Oh, I don't know, I think I heard it at work. Maybe I saw it on TikTok. I probably read it somewhere." Because admitting she picked it up from him means admitting there is a him. Pay close attention to new words, fresh expressions, or references that don't trace back to your shared experiences. Language is a window into the private world we live in. And when that private world starts including someone new, the way we speak changes with it. Sign 7. The defensive mode. She reacts defensively to things that never used to bother her. You ask how her day went, and suddenly it's, "Why are you interrogating me?" You mention she seems different lately, and it becomes, "You're always criticizing me." You ask who she was texting, and it's, "You don't trust me." Everything you say feels like an attack to her, because inside, she's carrying guilt and living with the constant fear of being found out. When someone is cheating, emotionally or physically, every innocent question feels loaded. We're so hyper-aware of what we're hiding that we start projecting suspicion onto your normal curiosity. Your "how was your day" becomes, in her mind, "Are you checking up on me?" Your "you seem stressed" turns into, "You're analyzing my every move." This is called projection, a psychological defense mechanism. We feel guilty, so we assume you're suspicious. We're hiding something, so we assume you're investigating. We're lying, so we assume you're interrogating. And here's the rule. The more defensive someone gets over small, everyday questions, the bigger the truth they're actually trying to hide. If asking about her lunch plans makes her snap, the issue isn't lunch. If wondering why she's working late makes her accuse you of being controlling, working late isn't the real story. Here's where the manipulation kicks in. Your reasonable questions get turned into personal flaws. You're not concerned. You're paranoid. You're not observant. You're critical. You're not trying to connect. You're needy. We flip the script so well that you start questioning whether you're the problem. Sign 8, the friend circle shift. She starts talking about new people in her life, but never includes you in that world. Suddenly there are new names in her stories. Work friends, gym buddies, people from yoga, friends from that new hobby she just started. But somehow, you never meet them. She never suggests bringing you along. At first, this might seem small, but it's not. In a healthy relationship, your social lives naturally overlap. You know her friends, she knows yours. You go to work parties together. You meet each other's colleagues. You're in group chats. You're part of weekend plans. That's normal. That's connection. But now there's a whole new social circle you're excluded from. She talks about these people like they're important, but you've never been introduced. She goes to events and hangouts that you're not invited to. She has inside jokes and shared memories with people who are complete strangers to you. Here's why. That separate circle is her cover. She needs people who see her as single, available, or unhappy in her current relationship. She needs witnesses who support the story she's building about her life without you. She needs friends who don't know you, or worse, think you're the problem. But she can't bring you into that world, because if she did, you'd spot the inconsistencies instantly. You'd hear how differently she talks about you to them, compared to what she says to your face. You'd see she's presenting a completely different version of herself when you're not around. Ask yourself this: if these new friends are truly just friends, why are you the only part of her life that's completely cut off from them? Why does she dodge or get tense when you suggest meeting them? Sign 9. The subconscious slip. This is the one I told you about earlier. And it's so subtle that even we don't realize we're doing it until someone points it out. You need to really listen to her words when she talks about the future. She used to say things like, when we buy a house, or we should take a vacation next year, or we need to start saving for retirement. The language was inclusive, team-oriented, about the two of you as a unit. Now, you're hearing phrases like, when I get my own place, or I want to travel more, or I need to figure out my finances, or I'm thinking about making some changes in my life. Notice the shift? The we has quietly turned into I. This isn't a conscious choice. She's not sitting there thinking, I'm going to cut him out of my sentences. This is her subconscious mind starting to picture a life that doesn't involve you. When someone is emotionally pulling away from a relationship, their brain often begins creating a future without the other person, long before they've consciously admitted they want to leave. Her subconscious is already sketching out an exit strategy, while on the surface, she might still be trying to make things work. I've caught myself doing this in the past, and it's terrifying, because your mouth often speaks what your heart has already decided. When I starts replacing we, it's a signal that, deep down, she's imagining herself on a different path. You'll hear this shift in all areas. Career goals become solo pursuits instead of shared decisions. Financial goals turn individual instead of joint. Living arrangements are framed as personal choices rather than couple compromises. Social plans are spoken of as what I want to do instead of what we'll do together. And here's the hardest truth. By the time you notice this change, she's likely been mentally rehearsing her life without you for weeks, maybe even months. She may not have consciously decided to leave, but emotionally, she's already halfway out the door. Pay close attention to her pronouns. Listen to how she talks about next week, next month, next year. If you're consistently absent from her future tense, you're already absent from her future. Sign 10, the future fade. Once you recognize the subconscious shift in language, this next sign will click instantly. She stops making concrete plans that involve you. She used to be the one suggesting vacation destinations, mapping out weekend activities, making dinner reservations, organizing date nights. Now, everything is vague, non-committal, or missing entirely. We should plan a trip becomes maybe I'll travel somewhere. Let's look at houses turns into I might need to move. When you ask, what should we do this weekend? She responds with, I don't know. Whatever. It's hard to make plans with someone when your emotional energy is tied up in somebody else. It feels dishonest to map out a future together if you're not sure you even want that future to happen. So without realizing it, she begins protecting herself, avoiding commitments she's no longer certain she'll want to keep. There's another reason this happens. Building a future with someone requires hope and excitement about that shared future. It takes emotional investment in joint goals, joint dreams, joint experiences. But when that emotional investment is being funneled somewhere else, the motivation to plan with you dries up. This lack of planning is actually one of the earliest warning signs of an emotional affair, long before many people notice anything else. Unfortunately, most partners don't pick up on it until much later, when the emotional distance is already entrenched. By the time you realize she's stopped including you in tomorrow, she's already imagining her tomorrow without you. And remember, this isn't just about putting events on a calendar. It's about shared hope. It's about looking forward to what you'll build together. When that hope fades, the planning dies with it. Sign 11. The guilt gifts. Suddenly, she's more thoughtful, generous, and accommodating than ever before. Unexpected presents show up out of nowhere. She's making your favorite meals, buying you clothes, and showing an unusual level of consideration for your preferences. She's agreeing to things she once resisted. Practically overnight, she starts acting like the perfect partner. Naturally, you might think, she's appreciating me more. Maybe she's finally realizing what she has. But here's the reality. This isn't about deeper love. It's about managing guilt. Deep down, she knows she's crossing a line, and these gestures are her way of trying to tip the moral scales back in her favor. The fancy dinner isn't a token of growing affection. It's a peace offering for loving someone else. That thoughtful gift, it's born from thoughts of him, not you, and the guilt that follows. This is what psychologists call compensation. She's trying to buy her way out of guilt, convincing herself she's still a good partner by going overboard in visible, obvious ways. The more grand her gestures become, the worse her hidden behavior likely is. This leaves you with a strange disconnect. Her actions say one thing, but her energy tells another story. You might notice these moments feel scripted rather than spontaneous, more like box ticking than heartfelt connection. Sign 12. The energy drain. This one is the most heartbreaking of all. She seems worn out, not from work or everyday stress, but from the relationship itself. She appears tired at the thought of being fully present with you. Conversations drag. Physical closeness feels like a chore. Time together leaves her drained instead of uplifted. At first, you'll spot it in little things. She takes longer to respond when you're speaking, as though she's mentally somewhere else and has to snap back to the moment. She seems almost relieved when you have plans that don't involve her. She comes up with reasons to be in separate rooms or maintain separate schedules. Anything to limit shared time. Why? Because juggling two emotional worlds is exhausting. Managing two versions of herself, keeping stories straight, hiding feelings, pretending to be engaged when her heart is elsewhere, it's mentally and emotionally draining. By the time she's with you, her emotional reserves are already spent. What you get is the worn-out, guilty, emotionally unavailable version of her. Because the laughter, excitement, warmth, and effortless connection, the version you fell in love with, is being given to him. You start to feel like your presence is a burden, like she's only with you out of obligation, as if she'd rather be anywhere but by your side. I know this is painful to hear, and some of you are already recognizing these patterns in your own relationships. But here's the truth. These signs aren't a reason to become paranoid or controlling. They're a reason to trust your instincts. No one likes to say it out loud, but a woman who truly loves you doesn't just avoid cheating, she avoids even the appearance of cheating. She protects your relationship from anything that could threaten it. If she's showing these signs, she's likely already checked out emotionally, even if nothing physical has happened yet. You deserve someone who chooses you every day, not someone using you as a placeholder while auditioning for her next relationship. Don't dismiss the signs. Don't rationalize behaviors that make you doubt your own reality. Trust what's right in front of you. And remember, you don't need closure from someone who's already gone emotionally. What you need is the courage to choose yourself. You are worth far more than being someone's backup plan.